A common question that I get asked a lot is whether you want to buy Blink first item or you want to buy some smaller item beforehand. To understand like all the different scenarios why you want to buy Blink or not, I'm going to try and show you a few examples. In this first one, we're playing a tournament game against Team Secret. I've been having a really good laning phase against Anti-Mage Puck, lane together with Centaur Phoenix. As you can see, I'm like top of the net worth. I'm pretty much like the most farmed hero in the game. Normally, when you're the most farmed hero in the game, I would recommend that you finish like your build-up item. You buy like a Hood or a Vanguard. You make sure that your hero stays strong, and you, most of the time, even if you would buy a Blink at 9 minutes into the game, like who's realistically gonna run around and gank with you? My Rubik's level 5 with brown boots. My Lone Druid wants to farm. My Sven wants to farm. My Phoenix is level 4 with Tranquils. You know, we're not really gonna be running around and killing people. However, in this scenario, and also because we're playing like a coordinated competitive game, I asked my teammates, or I asked my Lone Druid, like, if I buy Blink right now, are you gonna come fight with me? He tells me, when I finish my Mask of Madness, I can go fight with you. So it's also like important to respect your teammates' items and their timings, pretty much most of all, and like the heroes you have to work with. Maybe you have a Miranda on your team, maybe you have an Exort Invoker who can Sunstrike on your stun. Like these things, they add so much damage to your initiation that you know that, oh, I can buy a Blink and just run around and kill people. The enemy team is going to have to be really scared of me. But maybe they have a lot of really tanky heroes, maybe they have some melee heroes like a Nyx or something. Like even if you buy a Blink, he's not going to carry, he's not going to be scared of you. The Blink is like not very impactful. Another reason for me to buy Blink this game as well, as you can see right now, is that our top lane is also winning. Their offlaner Snapfire in this scenario is like kind of far behind our Sven. With their heroes, extremely hard to push this tower. They need to use the catapult timing, it's like the only way. So I know that they're gonna come and rotate to my lane. They have this Viper who deals like super much magic damage in the early game. I feel like no matter what items I buy, even though I'm very, like I could basically finish a Hood, I don't think I'm going to be able to stay on lanes. I think like if they decide to go on me, if I get coiled or like Earth Spirit rolls in, I think I'm like going to die anyway. Magnetize as well is like one of these spells that like over time you refresh it, it's going to deal over 1000 damage. It's not really like viable for me to just sit and push lanes and keep farming and being tanky if I'm just going to die anyway. So right now, you see the Viper rotates over, they gank me. I'm a little bit sad of course with this because I'm like so close to my Blink. But what I do in this scenario is that because I know my Lone Druid is ready to fight, well his bear is dead, but in 20 seconds he's ready to fight. I respawn, I sell a small item. In this scenario I sell my Gauntlet of Strength, not something that you usually want to do, but for me it's important to like not walk out into a lane and get ganked again. I buy my Blink, and at this time I know that we can make a move, and you can see already, I tell like my team, I tell my support to rotate in with me. Me and my post 4 and my mid hero together, we smoke up. We go on this Viper. I know that at 10 minutes they have a catapult as well. So like sometimes if you can get the Blink at a very early time around these catapults, you can use it to push the towers as well. Not always like because of the Blink. Sometimes you can think like, oh, if I have a Hood or a Vanguard, I can push these towers. It's like a really good way of thinking like what item is going to let me be strong like right now, and you can buy that one. The Earth Spirit is like ready as well, you know, but they don't expect me to have Blink this early, so the Viper is on our high ground. Like there are only 2 people here, he gets really caught out of position and dies. And out of this we can instead push their tower with our catapult. Now it doesn't die, but it goes down to like 1 HP and all their heroes have to rotate, so it's like a big win in my book. I want to show you another example of my reasoning behind buying Blink or not, and in this example I have 1200 gold and I'm farming really quickly, so I know like I'm probably the most farmed hero in the game. I'm very, I'm very like happy in this situation. And I know that if I want it, I could farm my Blink in like another 2-3 minutes. However, because I'm getting a little bit pressured and I don't want to keep buying regen, I throw in a Ring of Health in between. And I know that later into the game I can use this item to like build into Hood or Vanguard or something like that. So sometimes it can be a good idea to make sure that even if you're going for your Blink, that you buy like one of the smaller regen items, so you don't have to keep spending a lot of money on like salves and tangos. Usually I feel like you're gonna end up almost spending the same amount of money like you would on this one instead. So you might as well just buy an item that's gonna like help you later into the game as well. The reason that I wanna buy Blink in this game is that, first of all, I think that I have quite a bit of follow-up with Phoenix and Witch Doctor. If me and Witch Doctor go together and like smoke on somebody, he drops Maledict and ulti, they're like 100% dead. Maybe if Winter Wyvern is behind them, you know, they're not gonna die, but like somebody alone being pumped by the Witch Doctor ulti is gonna get destroyed like in a couple of seconds. So it's really good to understand if you have follow-up or not, and if the heroes on your team can like move with you, or if you're gonna buy a blink and then just run around alone while like people just push out lanes and farm, it's not really gonna be that impactful. I'll show an example right now of when I don't buy blink and I buy some build-up items and like my reasoning behind it. In this lineup we have, you can see we have Necrophos mid, OD, I think it's even mid one playing OD or something, safe lane. A little bit weird, but you know, it's OG, so they're gonna play stuff that's a little bit weird. I have Rubik +4, who's level 2 for some sad reason, and Oracle 5, who's also level 2. So looking at my team, things are a little bit hard. My supports are very low on level. Usually the Oracle is like the highest damage hero, so if this guy was like level 8, maybe I would consider buying a blink, because I would have somebody that can dish out a lot of damage on the targets that I jump. But I have like a Necro mid and a OD safe lane. These heroes are gonna wanna farm or like play slow. They're not really gonna be able to like run around with me and kill heroes. So I have no like real follow-up in this game, I would say. And that's like the primary reason I don't buy blink. Another one is that I think that they have heroes that are a little bit hard for me to kill. Maybe if they had like, let's say they had like a puck or something, maybe I could buy blink because our damage is enough, like me and Oracle, maybe it's like enough damage to kill him. But like Magnus very tanky, Phoenix pretty tanky, Invoker not necessarily tanky but has like a lot of escape tools, and if I were to blink in and like miss a kill, or I were to blink in on a target nearby this guy, he can like completely disrupt my initiation with a tornado and EMP and like cold snap me, and they can turn and kill me very easily as well. So in some games where like the risk of initiating is very high, like in this one, I think that if I go on somebody and they don't die, they can just turn on me with Invoker, Mirana Arrow, or like Phoenix is very good at killing me with Sunray, and the like PA Dagger, like slow and vision. It's like hard for me to reset as well. Maybe it's scary for me to jump a lot of targets, and then instead I would rather buy some more items in order to like pressure the game that way. So you can see I get Vanguard already at 7 minutes. I have it very early, so my game is at least really good. If you look at net worth, I'm probably highest in my team. Yeah, so I'm a little bit above PA. But I know, like from looking at the game, that I'm the strongest hero. So instead of like playing blink, buying blink, and maybe playing around other heroes or playing around like catapult timings, it's better for me to buy a Vanguard and try and create as much space as possible. I know that my team like has to farm. I know my OD is pressured out of lane, so he's gonna farm here, which means that by like buying an item like Vanguard, I can instead play aggressive and maybe like pressure towers, pressure them in the jungle without dying. I'll show you real quick here on the map. You see I'm playing only together with Oracle. His tip is out, I'm playing alone. At least I have some wards with me, but I'm like playing up here. I'm not really scared of anything. I have 1400 HP, a lot of HP regen. Their team, they don't really have a lot of damage right now. So like by buying this Vanguard, it kind of puts me like over the threshold of being gankable or not. I think that if I were to only have Brown Boots and a Blink, maybe they could kill me if they went for me, not like 100%. But I think like because of this Vanguard, they need to bring like 4 people at least, like maybe even 5. So it's like a really big safety net for me to be able to play aggressive. So because of this Vanguard, I'm like playing up here. I'm zoning all the heroes away from this, and this entire area is just zoned because I had my Vanguard. Earlier, like PA is in there farming, you know, I just run after him. Their supports don't feel like they want to deal with me, so they have to leave the area, which gives my OD like time to basically hit down the tower. It gives him a lot of space. I'm running around like killing a courier. I'm being annoying. I'm coming behind mid, like I'm like poking, running in like this. You can see me just diving the tower, like I'm taking almost no damage at all. It's like a lot of pressure and buying space for my team. These kind of moves like harder for me to do with a Blink. It's more like my team just needs me to basically shove the enemy away and to be like annoying, and not really for me to like blink and lock them down. However, as the game progresses, you get like a Rubik with higher levels. He even managed to steal Mirana Arrow. My OD gets a little bit more items. He finished this Meteor Hammer, which is also a reason I was like, oh, maybe I can buy Blink, and because of the Meteor Hammer, we can kill people very easily. My Oracle is starting to get more levels. Soon he has his Purifying Flames maxed out. So I'm thinking like, okay, they have heroes that are still a little bit hard to catch, like Mirana and Invoker, and even PA can be kind of slippery with the W. So I'm thinking like, okay, at this point, I kind of want to have impact by buying my Blink, and I don't really think there's any items I can buy that like lets me keep playing in this way. Even if I were to buy a Hood, I think like probably like at least in a minute or two, maybe PA finishes his Deso. Yeah, so now he has his Desolator. That means I'm like very gankable all of a sudden. So even if I buy a Hood, or even if I buy like a Blade Mail, it's not really gonna change anything drastically. So those items are lower impact, and instead I need to be able to like jump the enemy. So I decided to buy a blink now. And because I had such a good game and I have like my Vanguard already finished, it's still at like a reasonable timing. I would say in a game like this, if you have a very bad laning phase and you're really far behind, maybe it's better to just start off with buying the blink anyway, because these things like not being gankable and being able to pressure, you're not going to be able to do anyway. So it's better to just like get the blink and make sure that you have impact at least in some way. At this point in the game, I'm finishing my Vanguard, and I know like when I finish this item, I'm pretty much ungankable. They need to bring at least 4, maybe 5 people if they want to kill me. So I know like whatever area I'm gonna run to on the map, they're gonna have to respect me, and they'll probably like run away from me, because my cores are kind of slow and want to farm. I know like this area and this area, they kind of want to farm in, and they don't really want to run around and make moves. So it's like up to me to take farm that's both not stealing farm from my team and trying to steal farm from the enemy team. That means I finish my Vanguard and I try and play really aggressive. You can see I like push in the lane really aggro. I walk in, I farm like, it's not technically PA's camps, but I farm the camp like that's close to my lane. This Magnus I know wants to stack a lot of camps and empower for his PA, so I figured they probably have some stacks in the jungle as well. Maybe they have stacks over here. This area I think very scary to go into. If you want to go here, make sure that you're 5 with your team always. But this jungle at least I think is like, for me, very safe. I don't really think I'm going to get rotated on because I'm so tanky, right? So I just take the creep wave with me. Very good to always kill the wave as well. You pressure the tower, force somebody to stay up here. But the general concept is just to take as much farm you can from the enemy side on the map and try and make space for your team. And in this scenario I'm doing it with a Vanguard. Sometimes I'll have to do it with a blink if they have like squishier and slippier heroes. But so early into the game, a lot easier to do this like just by being tanky and farming instead of trying to kill heroes. In this example, I'm going to show you a game where I play Centaur and have a really good early game, and I decide to buy Hood first over Blink. I think in this game it was a little bit of a hard decision for me, because looking at my team, I have like Lina, really good follow-up, you know, a follow-up stun, a nuke, an ulti that deals a bunch of damage. All this guy wants is for me to buy a Blink so he can run around and kill people. And a Phoenix as well, which is good follow-up a little bit later into the game, not when he's level 5 maybe, but when he's like 7-8, he dishes out a lot of damage. However, their team has only magic damage, and I know that my team probably wants to farm like a little bit more, and that in order for us to like be able to push the game forward, we want to get towers. And for me, it felt easier to like tank up because I'm already having a really good game, and to like zone the enemy that way instead of trying to, I guess, like run around and blink and kill people. Partially because it's so early into the game that the kills we get, they're not worth like a lot of gold or experience. They're not dead for super long. It's not like me killing a level 3 Disruptor or level 4 Earth Spirit is going to be like, wow, we have this like huge timing where we can do whatever we want. You know, they're probably just going to respawn and fight us back. So that's also something to think about. Unfortunately now I die when I have Hood, which is, I think, kind of defeats the purpose of buying these items. But these things happen anyway, and it's not like the biggest deal. Usually you should try and avoid these situations, and if you think you're going to get ganked, buying these items, it's really good to bait with. Your team has extra time to respond, so if you're like just being tanky and they go on you, that also gives you an opportunity to throw your spells at them because they're probably next to you. So it's it's like a good way to make use of the lack of blink, is to like make them go on you and then you can turn around. Because I'm playing Centaur as well, my W damages myself with magic damage. So that's another thing to like keep in mind, that some heroes have like abilities, I guess, that you wanna for some reasons buy items for. So even though like maybe in some games it's better to buy a Vanguard than a Hood, sometimes you maybe want to buy Hood just because you keep damaging yourself with a double edge. It's another thing to think about. Because I have this Hood and these 2 bracers, I'm really tanky, so this time I tell my Lina to, okay, come bottom with me, like I want to push this tower, instead of me like, I guess, saving for a blink and playing to like blink and dive people. It's easier for me to just walk down a lane being so tanky and like basically ungankable. I'm not exactly ungankable as you just saw, but because I bring my team with me, the next time they try and go for me, instead of me dying, they have to like respect that I have heroes here and we almost kill them instead. Skipping forward though, I do think it's important that you eventually finish a blink, because they have a lot of slippery heroes in this game. I go blink right away. Some games I recommend finishing, for example, a pipe, or maybe if you go Vanguard you can go Crimson. It's all depending on the enemy's lineup and kind of what you want to do. If you want to group up and push really early, and you maybe have another hero with some form of initiation, like maybe you have a puck or a void spirit, it can be better to just go the pipe. You already have catch for the heroes, so it's not super important for you to buy a blink. But in this game I felt like we really lacked lockdown and stuns, and they had a lot of slippery heroes, so I just wanted to finish my blink right away, and then after that maybe I could go like pipe and Lotus Orb and other items that help us stay alive. Some general indicators of when to buy blink or not. I think the most important one is asking yourself, do I have follow-up? Will my team like want to run with me? Will the heroes that run with me have impact? I think like heroes like Lina, Mirana, you know, great heroes. Heroes like maybe Bane, like not a great hero. Of course there's a lot of like green zones and middle grounds, but you kind of just have to think for yourself and understand like the different scenarios. Maybe you can even like play it out in your head, like, oh, if I'm gonna blink and I'm gonna call this Batrider, I'm like, he has 1200 HP, are we gonna kill him? Nah. So okay, maybe I'm not gonna buy blink. Another thing to think about is if the enemy team is gonna be able to kill you or not if you buy other items. Maybe buying blink is gonna let you make moves, but maybe buying a Hood or a Vanguard is gonna make you unkillable, so that you can shove a lot of lanes and like push towers and create space in that way. I think a third and also important thing to think about is how good your game is. If you're playing from ahead and you have a lot of farm, I suggest that most of the time it's better to buy like a tanky item. If your team is doing really well and everyone is really farmed, maybe then you can buy a blink because people want to snowball and play aggressive. But if you're having like a poor game and you buy like a Vanguard, maybe you'll never really have impact and you can never really like do anything because you never had your blink and you just end up being useless for a very long period of time. So if you're like unsure what to buy and you're playing like a blink stun hero, it can be easier to just buy the blink and get it over with, especially if you're from behind. But if you're playing other type of heroes, like maybe like even heroes like Tidehunter, which you sometimes can buy blink on, in general it's better to buy a tanky item and then get your blink at a later time.